Early morning, April 19, 1775, in a small town called Lexington. Lay down your arms, you rebels, go back to milking your cows. No one knows who fired first, but a shot rang out. The shot heard round the world. But wait, how did we get here? To understand why they're fighting so hard, we have to go back to the greatest lost guy in history. Hey King, remember my plan to sail the other way to India? Right, so where's my black pepper? Well, I didn't find India, but I found a giant rock blocking the way. And guess what? It's full of gold. Gold, I love gold. Move aside, let me get that gold. Oh right, sir. And so the race began. Spain, France, England, everyone wanted a piece of the New World. After a few centuries of arguing and borrowing land and from the natives. I'm building a fort here. Looks fancy, bro. You say what, bro? This is mine. In your dreams, baby, nah. The 7 Years' War erupted, dragging the entire world into a global combat from Europe to Asia. In the North American theater, the British used their overwhelming force to drive the French out completely. Britain officially secured a monopoly over this land and redrew the global map of power. Great Britain had just won the 7 Years' War, becoming the most powerful empire on earth, but victory wasn't free. The national debt had reached a staggering £122 million. Look at this. Yes, Your Majesty, my treasury floor is too clean. Because it's empty, sir. Where is the gold? Gunpowder, warships, and what? Your fancy silk wigs. What? We need cash right now. Have you any counsel to offer? What about the American colonies? They haven't paid taxes. Oh, that good idea. Tax them. Tax what, sir? Everything paper, sugar, ink. They're going to be mad, sir. I'm the king. I don't need them to be happy. Wow, so cool. In 1765, the British Parliament passed the Stamp Act. Basically, if you used anything made of paper, you had to pay for a government stamp. Newspapers, stamp. Playing cards, stamp. Even marriage licenses, yeah, stamp. Good morning, bro. What's up? I'm here to notify you about the stamp duty issue. Are you kidding me? I have to pay for a stamp on this flyer saying I hate stamps? Exactly, and that will be 2 shillings. Please, thank you. What? But the American colonists weren't having it. A group of serious young men called the Sons of Liberty appeared, led by Samuel Adams. Alright boys, are we paying this stupid tax? Heck no! And what are we gonna do to those lobster-backed tax collectors? Tar and feather them. Yeah, that right. And so, Samuel Adams' men tarred and feathered the tax collectors. Hurl it at him. Yes, sir. Hey King George III, what happened? Remember, no taxation without representation. If we don't have a seat in Parliament, you don't get a single penny from our pockets. Wow! On December 16th, at Boston Harbor, the Sons of Liberty took action. They consisted of people from all walks of life, including carpenters, merchants, and laborers. And their leader was Samuel Adams. They had no representation in London, so they refused to pay taxes. This is heavy. Come on, bro, it's for liberty. Why couldn't they tax feathers? Shut up and dump it. Okay, bro. Oh, buy British tea. It's done. That's $1 million. The king is not going to be happy. So what? Like I'm supposed to be scared of him? Well, he's sending the entire British army to thank you for the tea, sir. What? The Boston Tea Party wasn't a party, it was a declaration. King George responded by closing the harbor and sending thousands of troops. The war was no longer avoidable. But why waste all that tea? Because before that, blood was spilled on the cold snow of Boston. Hey, lobsterbacks, go back home and eat your crumpets. Hey, watch it, I'm just doing my job here. A snowball hits the soldier right in the face. Then rocks, then oyster shells. The crowd closes in. Things are getting heated. Hold the line. Do not pull the trigger. I repeat, do not fire. But at that moment, a stranger's voice rang out. Fire! 5 colonists went down. The Boston Massacre turned countrymen into sworn enemies. At a cramped printing shop in Boston, Paul Revere and the Adams brothers are preparing a political bombshell. Paul Revere drops the Boston Massacre engraving, a masterclass in propaganda. Look, the redcoats are smiling while firing. Paul, add more blood right here. Print 1,000 copies now. Alright, wait a second. Sam, you're crazy. Paul, you know damn well it didn't happen like this. This is fake. 1000% fake. Fake or real, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it works. It was a riot that night, not a firing squad. I'm going to court to defend those British soldiers. You're doing this for justice, bro. For the law. Everyone deserves a fair trial. Sam, even our enemies. Whatever, you keep your dry law books. I need an angry mob, not a legal lecture. In the end, the truth mattered less than who could print faster. John Adams won in court, but Samuel Adams won the people's hearts with a legendary piece of propaganda. In London, the Townshend Acts are backfiring. Americans stopped buying and British factory owners are crying. Parliament, my warehouse is full of unsold paint. I'm broke. Fine, repeal the paint, paper, and lead tax. Keep the tea tax. Why tea? To flex, to remind them who's the boss. Oh! Still taxing tea? Then I'm keeping my cash. Enjoy your bankruptcy. The British Parliament thought keeping the tea tax was a way to save face, but they didn't realize they were holding onto the detonator of a time bomb about to explode in Boston Harbor. In 1773, the East India Company is drowning in debt. Britain drops the Tea Act to save their golden child. Tea is here, dirt cheap, even cheaper than the smuggled stuff, using a monopoly to kill. Our local businesses, aren't you? Americans love bargains. They will buy it tax and all. What can you do? Taxation without representation is robbery. We aren't buying. Cheap tea today, no freedom tomorrow. The ships are here. You dare defy the empire? Boys, block the ships. No need to dump the tea, sir. Let's just cannonade the ships to get it over with. What? Okay, on my mark. 3, 2, 1, fire. Oh shit. Britain thought Americans would choose cheap tea over freedom, but they were dead wrong. Americans would rather drink bitter pine needle water than swallow a sweet monopoly trap from London. After the shootings and protests, London decided to crack down. 4,000 British troops were sent to Boston, a city already small and cramped. Hey, why are you sleeping on my couch? And that's my sandwich. Quartering act, mate. Now go make me some tea. Wait, you dumped it all in the ocean. You steal our beds, and now you're taking our jobs at the docks too. That's what you get for rebelling. As long as you stay stubborn, I'm staying right here in your living room. Sure, sleep tight, but keep one eye open. The tea isn't the only thing we know how to dump into the cold, dark water. Hey, what do you say? Hey! The presence of British soldiers in every corner of the home turned Boston into a pressure cooker waiting to explode. King George III lost all patience after the Tea Party. Instead of negotiating, he punished Boston brutally with the coercive acts. They dumped my tea, fine, close Boston Harbor, dissolve their government. Let's see how they survive without trade. Do you think this will scare the other colonies, sir? Absolutely, they'll be on their knees begging for my forgiveness. But King George was wrong. These acts, which Americans called intolerable, didn't scare them, they united them like never before. In September 1774, leaders from 12 colonies gathered in Philadelphia to figure out how to handle Daddy Britain. Before we dive into the meeting, let me give you a quick intro to the key players in the room. This is Patrick Henry, this is George Washington, and this is Samuel Adams. We should write a letter and ask for forgiveness. Opposing the world's strongest army is suicide. Enough, I am not a Virginian. I am an American. We need to defend ourselves or die in chains. But if we raise an army, King George will see it as treason. Isn't peace better? Peace cannot be purchased with humiliation. If needed, I will raise an army at my own expense to liberate Boston. Exactly, it's time to stop using spit and start using gunpowder. A wave of resolve swept through the room. They weren't just boycotting goods anymore, they were preparing for an uprising. The order went out for militias immediately, blacksmiths and farmers ready to drop their plows and grab their muskets in a minute's notice. The legends known as the Minutemen. From that moment on, the 13 colonies were no longer scattered pieces. They had forged themselves into a single block of steel, ready to crush oppression in the lethal showdown ahead.